So, can I just first of all say thank you to Kevin Spacey for being here.
By the way, I'm not this short, I'm actually sitting down.
I got a text yesterday from a journalist who many of you will know, which said simply, my best friend's daughter has just died of leukemia. She was 14, keep up the fundraising. It really took me aback, more than it should have done, but the truth is, these days we hear more stories of survival with children with leukemia than we do of deaths. It really kind of shocked me, because now we've gone from 0 survival rate to 90%. So that does sort of underline the need to keep going.
Well, the truth is that ever since our memorable night at McDonald's in Blackpool with Bill Clinton, I felt I have owed you something, since we didn't take you to a nice fancy restaurant. We took you to McDonald's.
We were the host.
Oh, that's right, you were the
And we took you to McDonald's.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he wanted junk food.
That's right. Well, but we had been at a dinner. Do you remember that? We had already been at a dinner.
Oh, yeah,
and then it was later that he went, I'm still hungry.
How did he say that?
He came to the Labour Party conference with his very good friend, President William Jefferson Clinton. And after having had one dinner and gone to several receptions, President Clinton, who has quite a sizable diet, said he wanted to go find some junk food. So one of the most memorable nights of my life, not just of my political career, was Fiona and I having a McDonald's, in fact many McDonald's, in Blackpool with Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey. And all I would say to you is, whatever questions Melvyn asks him, when it gets to you guys asking the questions, please make sure one of you asks him to do his Bill Clinton, because it is the best Bill Clinton I've ever heard, apart from Bill Clinton.
It's so you just see it because you're really famous American and stuff.
Yeah, and Emma Thompson turned you down.
That's not true. That is not true, that's a lie.
I'm going to do something that I very, very rarely do now. I'm going to thank a Conservative. And that is because this particular Conservative, this is how connections work. He went on holiday, he had my diaries, he read them, realised that I worked for Leukaemia and Lymphoma Research, and given that he's to speak with the House of Commons, immediately phoned me up and said, would you like to have a special reception for your charity at the House of Commons? So Mr. John Bercow, Speaker, thank you very much. Ed Victor has now joined us. Ed Victor is, well, you don't need to be introduced to him.
No, exactly.
He's a living legend. He runs a public speakers bureau now. Do you know that? Do you know the public speaker?
Yeah, I heard that.
And he's going to revolutionise public speaking by telling his clients what commissioning takes.
You know where I want to send Alastair? Not because I want to get rid of him, but I want to send him to speak in China. The Chinese have a lot of lectures.
Do you want to come? Let's go to China.
China. I was in China earlier this year.
You like going to China?
I made a film in China.
It wasn't until I was 15 years old, and I was in a production of an Arthur Miller play that just closed here in London, Arthur Miller's All My Sons, which was a beautiful production with David Suchet and Zoe Wanamaker. And it was in that play, and in a particular performance of that play, that for the very first time, I realized I had an impact on the audience. And it wasn't about me, because I think up to that point it was very much about, you know, being on stage and having your friends come and see you and your mates in school make fun of you. But there was something that happened in that play where the character I was playing was having a result on the audience. And it was the first moment that I felt or knew that I was an actor. I no longer wanted to be one, I was one. I discovered it in that play.
Do you know anything to do something with Brit?
Well, I consider this is where I live.
I mean,
I think I'd have to become a subject
of Her Majesty.
Yes, in order to be
I've done that.
a citizen,
I
to actually call myself British.
You're happy to be a subject rather than a citizen?
Yeah, but you aren't citizens here, you're subjects, aren't you? I'm a citizen of the United States, but I think I would end up being a subject.
Would you like to be a subject rather than a citizen?
I'm already a subject, don't talk to me.
How did the fact that your parents sent you to a military academy fit in with all this?
Oh, damn, he's done his research.
The Queen would fill the theatre, wouldn't she? We could get the Queen.
If you you could get the Queen,
To
absolutely.
do Q&A out there with Melvyn Bragg.
You know, I have an idea.
You might want to
for
get a bigger
woman,
theatre.
Vanessa. No,
She's not exactly New Labour.
Which impressions did you enjoy doing most? I mean, can we start?
I love Johnny Carson, and I don't know, do people know Johnny Carson? I love Johnny Carson because I did a play once, I did a production of a musical called Gypsy, and I played this character in this play, and someone came backstage once and said, "You sound like Johnny Carson," and I was like, and I had chosen to make this character from the Midwest. So then I started watching Johnny, and I was like, yeah, actually, I do sound a little bit like him, because in the Midwest, and what happens, people talk in the back of their throat. Oh, it's true, I don't make that up. There was an earthquake in London tonight. Did you hear about that? It's true. I was sitting in a hotel room. All of a sudden, the hotel starts to move. I thought Alastair had fallen out of bed. Then I realized how can he fall off the floor? Which muscles does James Stewart use?
Jimmy just, you know, he found a way to talk.
I've never taken any political stance in this country because I don't vote in this country.
Oh, in this country, but if you were British, which you will be one day, your politics, as defined by American politics, you New Labour.
Or, who knows, there could be another coalition in the world.
But you've only got two parties, that's the problem.
Well,
or Republican, Democrat.
Yeah, but 5 years from now, who knows, there could be another party.
Yeah, Tea Party.
And just one more before closing. What about Gielgud? That's a big one.
Here's my favorite story about Gielgud. I had the incredible opportunity to have met him a couple of times. And even to, before he passed away, he knew that I was coming to start this company at the Old Vic. But before that, a couple of years before that, I had done a film that Al Pacino had directed called Looking for Richard. And Al had come over to London a couple of times to film Peter Brook and Vanessa Redgrave and a whole number of people. And he'd been trying to get Gielgud to sit down and do an interview about Richard III for about 4 years. And finally Al said, "Oh, you'll get an Al now." Finally Al said, "Oh," he said, "yes. We're going to Oxford." So we go to Oxford, and Gielgud is going to leave the country house that he has, and he's going to come and join us. And so it's very exciting. Al's brought over cameras, he's brought lights. We get into a hotel room. Gielgud gets the makeup on, they put the microphone on him, sit down, and Pacino goes, "So, Sir John, I am so happy to talk to you about Richard III. What do you think of that play?" And after waiting 3 or 4 years to ask this question, Gielgud said, "Oh, never liked that play." All those crazy women running around. I saw Al just melt.
And Clinton, and then we move on. Sorry about this.
Well, I just had the joy of seeing the president last week. Yeah, we had a good time. So it's true what Alastair said about McDonald's. It was good. We walked and walked and walked. We finally found it. It was good. I love y'all.
All right, it's time, showtime.